Okay. Wow. What an arrival. What a good experience to be here with you and to be able to catch up again after being away. I am so grateful, so grateful to be here. And just want to take a moment to invite you to arrive and tune into what you are bringing with you into this moment. Sensing your body, how you slept last night, or how the day went, or whatever time of day it is for you, what you might be needing in this next hour and a half that we have together. Sensing your state of mind. Sensing any emotions that are present for you. It's been a kind of big time, right? With eclipses and experiences. That have, I think, sent many of us through a variety of emotions and experiences. There's a lot happening in our world, as there always seems to be. And yet it feels very highlighted right now as we navigate our relationship to struggle and suffering, and simultaneously holding a sense that there can be hope and possibility. You know, having just returned from South Africa, I think the reflections that I take away with me is that it is a country that has so much pain, so much suffering. The repercussions of apartheid are still playing out in violence and aggression today. And it's also a tremendous place of resilience through nature and pristine wilderness and song and dance and storytelling and community. And I often speak about our capacity to hold the both and it really represents so much of that, of what it is that we build our capacity to be present to it all, to the pain and the despair and the hope and the beauty. So in this class, I have named it the Standing in the Fire. It's a strong name today. And the class itself is both going to be kind of building a felt sense of capacity and nourishment for your nervous system. And it's also going to add in very specifically chosen elements of challenge, energizing practices, and practices that let you tap into your strength, the felt of enlivenment. It's playful, will catch a little bit of endurance, waking up your cardiovascular system with quicker breaths and movements, followed by recovery phases of rest. So I really hope that it helps you navigate the challenges that are inevitable in our world, your own capacity to stand in the fire of this world with your own open heart. So as we move and breathe and drop in together, I also want to invite you to take care of yourself, to listen to your body, to take breaks as needed. If any of the challenge elements that I'm bringing in are not right for you, for your nervous system, then listen to that and honor your body, please, please, please. All right. And I'm going to read a short quote here. This is from the new book, the Applied Polyvagal Theory in Yoga book. And this particular quote is on the topic of centering and the way that centering supports our engagement with the world, supports our engagement with the world without losing a core sense of self. And as we let go of the restrictive identification with our wounds, we can reclaim a broader sense of self, that capital S self. that is both stable and flexibly responsive to our environment. And we recognize that our wounds become the cracks that let the light in. They open the compassionate heart. And of course, I have a poem for today, and this poem is called A Proclamation for Peace. I happened to hear this poem last weekend at a concert that my daughter was singing, and the whole concert of songs were poetry put to songs, and this poem is written by Kim Stafford, and you might hear just a little bit of musicality at the end of it. And so, A Proclamation for Peace by Kim Stafford. Whereas the world is a house on fire, whereas the nations are filled with shouting, whereas hope seems small, sometimes a single bird on a wire left behind by migration, left by migration behind. Whereas kindness is seldom in the news, and peace an abstraction, while war is real. Whereas words are all I have, whereas my life is short, whereas I'm afraid, whereas I am free, despite all fire and anger and fear. Be it therefore resolved, a song shall be my calling. A song not yet made shall be my vocation, and peaceful words the work of my remaining days. Be it therefore resolved, a song shall be my calling. A song not yet made shall be my vocation, and peaceful words the work of my remaining days. And with that said, take a moment to receive and arrive, knowing your own proclamation, your own intention. Doesn't have to be grandiose or for the whole of your life, but for this next hour or so. Perhaps one of kindness or compassion, joy, a willingness to show up for yourself and for those in your life. And I will invite us to make that sacred transition onto our yoga mats. And pardon me for a moment, I will disappear, but I shall return in just a second as we make our transition. Thank you. Just grabbing my printout of my class, which was sitting on my printer. So glad. So we're going to start with a little bit of havening. Many of you know I love to start with this. And because it's chilly, it's snowy outside in Colorado, I'm going to start with a little bit more of a vigorous movement of my hands, creating a little bit of warmth. I invite you perhaps to do the same if that feels like it serves you. Ah, and then slowing that down to be able to sense and feel the contact of your palms, both giving and receiving. And then bringing perhaps your warmed up hands, your hands full of energy to your face, smoothing across your forehead. Ah. Mm. And your cheeks. Here we are. And shoulders down to elbows. And if you feel comfortable, you might even add in a layer of just greeting your legs, making some contact with the fronts of your legs, the backs of your legs, your feet, so that you can sense and feel your whole body in this arriving moment. Lovely. And then returning to your comfortable seat and knowing that that can be however you need it to be, maybe a block supported, pillow supported, chair supported. And tuning into your Ujjayi pranayama. This is a warming breath and it creates a slight constriction in the whisper muscles of your throat. And it also creates an audible quality to the breath for your inner ear. And of course, all of that waking up connections to the vagus nerve. With Ujjayi pranayama, if it's new to you, it's like you're fogging a mirror so you can go, you keep that same ha quality of the breath, but you turn it inside, breathing in and out of your nose. Finding your pace and rhythm and quality of the breath. And then we'll find what we'll call revolving ujjayi, which means that we're going to take the upper body around the legs and pelvis in a circle, taking your inhale forward and exhale that audible breath. And as with every practice here, finding your pace, your rhythm. And then taking this in the opposite direction. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. You can even draw your abdominal muscles back toward your spine on the exhalation, creating a gentle massage across your digestive organs. And one more. Beautiful. Coming up through center, inhaling forward and exhaling back. Maybe hands hold onto shins, ankles, and then you get to choose. You can keep this really slow. You can speed it up a little bit if that feels right for you. From the side, what it looks like is this. And you're warming up through your spine. Inhale through to center, letting your entire spine lengthen and fill with the breath. And exhale, let that go. Our next little warm up here is a sidewinder move for your spine. And you can sense your sits bones at the base of your pelvis. And you can kind of rock like you're walking from one side to the other. And then let that rocking motion on your sits bones begin to translate up your spine. So you're like a little sidewinder snake. And just allowing yourself to wriggle and move. Let your breath flow as it naturally does with this movement and shape. Good. And then letting that resolve. And we'll find more side body awakening here, leaning to one side. You can keep the opposite hand at your hip, or you might bring it overhead. And then moving in and out of your side bend. Let it feel good. And you get to make it yours, right? You can curl forward, open up to the ceiling, choose the depth of your lean. Hmm. And then coming up through center, and we're going to stay on that same side body. So letting your head simply lean towards that same side, using your hand for support, and then reaching your opposite fingertips away. And you can lift or lower your fingertips here, finding just the right stretch, sending your breath into the opening side of your neck. And if you'd like, adding in eyes, gazing down towards your shoulder or elbow of the lifted arm here, the leaned towards side. Eyes reaching down. And then eyes reaching upward towards the, in my case, the crease of the ceiling and the wall. And letting eyes come to center, head come to center, and a moment to recalibrate and receive. Notice what happens as you're opening up the connection between mind and body, sensing and feeling more, and perhaps a little more aware of what you might need, helping you better take care of yourself. As we come into side two, a lean, either hand at your hip or arm overhead. What is this side body holding for you, wanting you to know? Feeling both into the contraction of one side, the opening of the opposite. Looking down, forward, or up. Ah. Mm. And then back up through center with your spine. And now just the cervical spine. Ear leans. You can support your head with your hand. Maybe the opposite arm reaches away. Using your breath to breathe into both sides of your neck. And then sending your eyes in that downward direction, kind of where your head is leaning toward your shoulder, toward your elbow, reaching your eyes. And then reaching your eyes upward, that upward end of the eye socket. Continue to breathe. And eyes to center, head to center. And pausing for a moment. Checking in with what you might need. And there can be a little bit of a reorienting that happens. Good. All right, we've got a little bit of a twisting action for our next phase here, and I'm going to show two variations. The first one is where we'll all start, and we're going to do what I call tray twists, which is your hands here are holding a tray, and you're going to deliver something really lovely to each side. So you might imagine that you've got this tray full of perhaps beautiful fruit or flowers. And you're just offering this side to side. You can reach that forward arm and return back to your tray. And with your breath here, maybe inhaling through center and exhale to each side. And you can stay with this. Beautiful place to stay, checking in with your spine, seeing how you feel. And you might choose to move to the second variation. The second variation is faster and it may or may not feel right for you. In the second variation, I'll invite you to take your hands towards shoulders. And this time we inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And it's more rapid, so it'll look and sound like this. So you're choosing the kind of twist that works for your body. And then coming back through to center, inhale. And exhale, let that go. And pause to receive for a moment. Noticing what that awakens for you. And you can pause in stillness, or you might always just begin to explore what is my body needing now? How does this connect me more to myself, both physical body, mental body, emotions, energetic body, a whole range of you. And of course, the breath. All right, we'll get into our legs a little bit here. So just a very brief twisting here, very brief spinal rotation, joint rotation, I should say. And we'll go with, I've got my right leg, if that helps. I'm going right foot around ankle in each direction. And I might encourage you to start with the right leg. It'll help as we go into deer pose. So right shin around knee, one direction, and the other way. And then nice big wide hip circles, one direction and the other. And then many of you are familiar with this stance. If you've taken with me before, we're going to come into deer. So right knee now in front of left foot, right foot behind, and then an invitation to begin to twist toward the left. And your right hip, as you come in and out of this twist, will perhaps begin to lift and lower, and you might even take your right arm up overhead. I love this particular set of movements because it opens up into psoas all the way through diaphragm, lungs, throat, that whole beautiful line in the body. And then back through to center and an invitation to take your right leg out long. And as you reach over your right leg, once again, greeting your right leg, the skin of your leg, perhaps as you lean over your right leg, beginning to sense your hamstring muscle and maybe flexing the foot. You get to choose how much depth of the stretch. It's relatively early still in our class. Good. And then just coming back up, we'll find all that on the other side, starting with left foot rotations in one direction and the other way. And then shin around your knee and the other direction. And nice big wide hip circles in each direction. And an invitation to go into deer, knee towards foot. And then beginning to twist to the right, you can come in and out, letting your left hip lift and lower. And you might take your left arm with you for the ride. Mm. Mm. Ah. And as you come back, we unwind left leg, sending it long and just finding a few breaths here, greeting your skin, muscles, and even giving your legs a little gratitude in this practice for all they do to carry you through the world. A way of giving back, saying thank you. Stunning. Come on up. So we're going to shortly be making our way onto our backs, and it's helpful to have a block for when we get into our core practice today. So have that nearby. En route for moving in that direction, we're going to find a little bit of deer side to side. So I'll invite you to take your feet mat's width apart, and you can start with your hands down as rocking both knees one way and both knees the other way. And you can stay just like this. Or you might begin to take one arm off the ground to each side. And many of you know what's coming next. You might take both arms off the ground. And finding a little bit of this look ma, no hands, right? This floating deer. And it's already beginning to wake up through your core. And how good does that feel? Hopefully good, right? Let's go for it. Feels good. And then when you feel ready, coming back through to center, grabbing hold of that block and coming all the way down onto your back. Block is to go between your inner thighs, waking up through the inner thigh line, which connects right into your lowest core muscles. So positioning your lower legs, your feet on the ground here to start, and hands behind your head. Inhaling here and exhale, just getting a sense of this movement of your body in space as you lift through head, shoulders, and inhale down. Exhaling to lift and inhale to lower. And one more just like that. And then we'll add on. Exhale to lift. Inhale to send your legs long. Exhale to lower your feet. Lift your shoulders just a little higher and inhale down. Let me see if I can if I can coordinate this with the breath just a little bit better. Inhale here. Exhale, lift. Inhale, legs. Exhale down a little higher with your chest and then inhale down. Okay, inhale here. Exhale, inhale, legs. Exhale, lift a little higher. Inhale, lower, right into the next round. Exhale, inhale, legs. Lower, lift, and inhale. Exhale, inhale, legs. Exhale, legs down, lift a little higher. Inhale, down. And exhale, lift. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs down, lift a little higher. Inhale, down. Last one. Exhale, upper body. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs down, lift a little higher. Inhale, down. And pause for a moment. Receive. All right, next part, very similar with a twist. So literally inhale through your upper body as you're down. Exhale to lift and turn to the right. Just upper body's turn to the right. Now inhale, lift your legs. Exhale, lift your legs, lift upper body to center, lower. I'm going to talk you through it again, twisting to the left. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to left. Inhale, lift legs. Exhale, lower legs, lift upper body to center, and inhale down. So that final exhale is long, right? You've got a two-part action going with it. Let's do it again. Inhale here. Exhale to the right. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs. Still that exhale as you lift to center and lower down. Inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs. Inhale, or continue that exhale as you come to center and inhale down. All right, again. Exhale as you come to right. Inhale, legs. Exhale, lift upper body. Inhale down. Exhale, left. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs. Lift through center with your chest. Inhale down. Exhale, right. Inhale, legs. Lower legs, exhale. Lift through center. Inhale down. Last one. Exhale, left. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs. Lift through center. Inhale down. And pause. Receive, let that go. The only action that's still happening here is go ahead and give that block just its do right squeeze, continuing to feel that inner leg line for one more moment. and then releasing the block to the side. And our final movement here, taking both feet off the floor, a little clamshell action. So taking your feet together, knees wide, inhale here, and exhale, everything contracts together, knees to elbows. Inhale, broaden, and exhale, come on into center. Moving with your breath, your pace. And you get to choose how much lengthening of the legs away from your chest you do. The further away your feet go, the more challenge, and that's totally up to you. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. One more like that. Okay, lower it down. Take your knees in your hands, maybe a nice circle on your sacrum in one direction and the other way. And then from here, hands behind your knees. Good rock and roll on your spine. And up and over your shins, we'll meet in a tabletop. And in your tabletop shape, just finding your way around. So some free form movement, arriving, different relationship to gravity in this shape, new movement possibilities from this shape. What is your body needing today? What helps you be more present for yourself? Mm. And then from here, I'm going to guide us into some movements, and you can stay with your free form if you prefer. Our first guided practice is toes pose, tucking your toes under, walking yourself back, sitting upright on top of your heels. So you're stacking your spine on your feet, and you can even reach around, broaden through your toes, feel that base underneath you. Your breath. Waking up through the fascia of the feet. We're not here for too long, just another breath or two. Good. And then unwinding from that, tapping out through the tops of your feet if you'd like, and then sitting on the feet now, sitting on your heels, and we're finding a compression now through the fronts of the ankles. Many of you have done this with me before. This is a lovely place to stay, or you might amplify it by alternately lifting one knee and the other, just waking up into the shins, ankles area. You might even balance a little bit on the tops of both feet, a brief little rock there, and then coming forward. Now, for some of you, sitting onto the calves and the feet is really quite comfortable, and for some of you, not so much. This is where your block can come in handy, and you can lift yourself up off of your heels, creating more space for your knees as well. So the next breath that we're going to do is from this shape. And remember, everything is optional. And if you would like to engage in a little bit of a breath of fire here, we'll do that together. And on the exhale for this breath, you're going to draw your navel towards your spine. On the inhale, it just relaxes and expands. So you get to choose. This is, again, one of those little cardio endurance bursts for your body. It's brief, and see how it feels and drop it and just do long, deep breathing in this shape or any shape of your choosing if this is not right for you. Inhaling here. Exhale. Inhale to begin. And inhale here. And exhale, let that go. And then right back into tabletop and another opportunity just to release through your knees. You can reach out through one leg and the other. Any movements for your spine. Good. And I'm going to invite you into a variation from here. Again, this will have a little bit of an endurance quality to it. And with your toes tucked under in this shape, I'll invite you just to lift your knees off of the earth. And just holding here for a moment, you can hold in stillness or you can allow yourself to rock a little bit forward and back. We'll call this turbo cat, right? Just feeling the, ooh, a little bit of the intensity and what begins to build, perhaps a little bit of heat or sensation in your legs, your arms. How does your breath support the shape? Good. Feeling your core on and then lowering through your knees. Beautiful. I will invite you now to send your left leg back, give it a pulse into your left heel. And then lifting through your left leg, a nice place to pause, to be, to feel your core supporting your leg. You can add on to this if you like, sending your right arm forward. And you can stay here or add on, exhale, knee to elbow under your body. Inhale to reach. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pause, reach, balance. And then maybe bending through your left leg, maybe reaching around. You can hold this intention to make contact, or maybe you grab hold of your foot and give a little half bow here. And then without a slingshot, letting all of that release. Right hand to the mat, keeping your left leg lifted. One more inhale here. And exhale, left knee to left shoulder, reaching it back. Exhale, left knee to left shoulder, this time planting your left foot. So with left foot on the ground, I'll invite you to lift through your upper body. And you can adjust your stance as much as you need to. And you might take a few breaths here, just in and out of a lunge. You can use your blocks if you'd like. It's getting to know this shape. Good. And then here's a little playful addition here, coming back upright. And you can do this with your back toes curled under or not. But see what happens if you lean into your back leg and take the weight off of your front foot. So you can keep your toes down or you can have it lifted. We'll call this praying mantis. Okay. And just have a little fun exploring the wobbliness, the in and outness of the shape. You fall out, ground's not that far. And then we'll come back out of that. Cool. Nice. Nicely done. Now, blocks are helpful for this next one. I'll invite you to curl your right toes under and send your right leg back. Okay. So we've got a lunge, and here's another one of our little endurance challenges. So with your right hand on your block, you can release the left hand forward, and we're going to come into a little bit of a rapid movement. Left hand, right foot, okay? And just right? Finding that movement, reaching away and toward, curling it in. You can breathe out through your mouth, let some heat go if it's building. Last one. And then letting go of both blocks, stepping from that low lunge into downward facing dog, our first downward dog. Walk it out, pedal it out. Knowing that if down dog is not fun for you right now, you can come to table, you can always rest in child's. And then from our down dog, I'll invite you to bend both knees so that they hover over the mat. Now we've been here before. We're just coming into it from a different direction. So feeling that hovering action, the waking up of your core, your cardiovascular system, and lowering your knees. All right, this time it's right leg back and a few pulses. And then lifting through your right leg. Engaging your core, great place to stay. Or maybe you add the lift of your left arm. Notice how your breath rises to meet the shape. And on an exhale, under your body, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Good. And reaching here, and then maybe bending right leg, left arm comes back. Maybe they make contact, maybe a half bow. And then releasing from here, keeping right leg up, planting left hand. Inhale. Exhale, right knee, right shoulder. Inhale back. Exhale to shoulder forward through low lunge, and then lifting up. And once again, you can take a few moments here, coming into the shape, getting to know it, left hip flexor, right leg, maybe your blocks are here. And then from here, a little bit of that balance play. So as we lift up, you can explore what happens for you if you take a little bit of the weight out of your front foot. And maybe front foot comes off the ground altogether. A little praying mantis moment. We saw a lot of those in South Africa, didn't we? And just feeling your core on board with this and knowing that we can play and come in and out of balance and all is well. And back forward, foot on the ground, and finding a low lunge this time. So lifting your left knee, curling your left toes under, and we have that little endurance flow here. This time, freeing your right arm, and your weight comes into your right foot enough to free your left foot forward and back. So hand coming towards foot. Your right leg is really the efforting leg here. Maybe exhale through your mouth. Beautiful. Let's step it back. Second time here to downward facing dog and pedal it out. Make it yours. Mm. And then this time I will invite us all to lower knees, send hips back, and take a mindful pause in child's pose. Just arriving back to yourself, whether those movements, those faster movements, those challenges were sweet, or whether they were sticky, they're over and coming into this moment. Mm. Beautiful. You are welcome to stay here longer if you need longer for recovery, for presencing yourself. If you're ready to come back through downward facing dog, I'll invite you to curl your toes under, pressing back. And from this downward dog, taking a nice savoring, sauntering walk to the front of your mat and arriving there for a forward fold. Now, this forward fold can have deeply bent knees, maybe hands on the earth or hands on blocks, bringing the earth closer to you. Really a grounding shape. And not here too long, but enough to soften through your jaw, the muscles of your face. Maybe scrunch your face tight, stick your tongue out, open it wide. Sound. You can nod your head yes, shake it no. Let something roll off your shoulders, out the crown of your head. And then from here, bending through your knees nice and deeply, enough to find a long spine. So we're going to find a halfway lift, deeply bent knees, and you might even reach down and grab a block again. I really like a block in this particular one, squeezing the inner thighs with this functional halfway lift. So we've got a deep bend in the knees, long spine, navel drawn towards spine, and sending your arms back. With or without the block, you're going to squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. And then maybe imagine you're sending your heels away from each other. And then perhaps sending your arms forward. Extra challenge, changes the lever of the movement, lever of the shape. Good. Squeeze, breathe. And then pressing into your feet, coming all the way to standing with a long spine. And then releasing your hands. Beautiful. You can keep the block if you've used it, and allowing yourself to feel your way into mountain pose. A strong, equal standing pose. When we look at coming into center, coming into balance, sometimes it's helpful to sense what not being in balance feels like, right? You can come towards one side or the other, forward or back, and then finding your way into midline, where the weight is relatively equally distributed in your feet, and you're here. And then from this shape, I'll invite you to draw your arms up overhead And we'll take it to one side. So leaning into a side bend, you can have your hand on your hip or you can reach arms in opposite directions. Gaze can be down, forward, or up. And then a few breaths on this side. It's nice to have that block continuing to squeeze toward midline in this shape. And then we'll take it up through center, inhale, and to side two. Good. And whether you want that hand supported on your hip or reaching your arms in opposite directions. Once again, we've got a contraction in one side body as we're opening the other side. Good. And up through to center. And exhale to release. Here you are. I invite you to release the block at this point. Turn towards the front of your mat if you're not there. And inhale, sweeping your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Finding a halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, planting your hands, stepping back. You might find a moment in down dog before rolling your spine forward into upward plank. And then an invitation to take your knees, your chest and your chin to the mat before slithering down like a snake to the earth. Invitation for rolling cobras here. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, rolling forward. Moving with your breath. Your rhythm. You get to choose how much weight in the hands, how much lift of your heart. And then when you're ready, either through tabletop or some of you might go right to high plank, but we'll meet in downward dog. And arriving here with your breath. From downward facing dog, taking a moment, gazing forward, setting your sights on where you're going to next, and either walking or hopping or pouncing your way to the front. Finding a forward fold, exhale, and inhale all the way to standing. Exhale right into a gentle back bend, bending your elbows, a little bit like cactus arms or goalpost arms, lifting through your heart. Inhale to lengthen your spine back up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, finding a halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands, stepping back, pressing your hips back to downward dog as a transition to roll your spine forward like a wave coming to the shore, moving into a high plank. And an option this time to come into low plank. Now you can always lower your knees and come to the earth. Otherwise, bending your elbows for chaturanga, rolling over your toes, and inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, pressing back, downward facing dog. Good. From downward dog, we'll have another little endurance cardio challenge, and you can opt in or opt out. They're short and they'll go by quickly. So if you're not into it, you'll join us in a moment. If you're joining, coming for the ride, we're going to start by alternate lifting and lowering your heels. It's simple, but it'll accumulate. So just take a moment with this. Lifting, lowering, let your breath coordinate. Shh, shh. Good. Next variation here is bending both your knees and twisting your hips side to side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. It's like you're sending your hips toward your heels. Shh. Good. Back through center. Third one here, lifting one leg and exhale, bend your knees. Lifting the other leg. Exhale, bend your knees. Shh. Inhale. Two more. Inhale, sending your right leg back. And exhale, forward and through. Low lunge. 2 blocks for this one. And the last little burst here, and then we're going to rest. In this burst, coming into 2 hands on blocks, pardon me, right foot forward, and you're going to do what we'll call a jump switch, opposite leg in front, okay? And back and forth. Jump switch, jump switch, jump switch, jump switch. Okay, back to downward dog, lowering your knees, and you have a choice. You might rest in rock pose, or you might rest in child's pose. You choose. Great time to get a sip of water and coming back home to yourself. Noticing your heartbeat, the signs in your body that you are alive, you are here, you can stand in the fire. And of course, the beautiful thing about practicing this on the mat is that we're opting in, we're taking breaks as needed. And even though we don't get to choose the fires that happen out in the world or happen in our lives, we do get to learn how to better recover from them. So these phases of active recovery become an essential part of the practice. Well done. Can you sense the settling? Can you sense how coming back home to yourself? And if you're still feeling, pardon me, a little of the activation, slow down your breath or emphasize your exhalation and notice what happens. You might take a 4 count inhale And exhale for a count of 6. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. So we'll have another round of some standing postures, tuning into yourself. Are you up for that today? If so, I'll invite you to come through your table, your down dog, and making your way to the front of your mat, however you'd like to get there. And finding your way into a standing shape as a transition into Utkatasana. Utkatasana, our chair pose, sitting, hips back, knees bent in your imaginary chair. And our first breath here will have some vigor to it. So just again, tuning in, am I up for another round of vigorous breath? If not, take this nice and slow. Inhale, sweeping your arms forward, and exhale back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sweeping your arms back, pausing here. Maybe lifting your heels, a little balance. And then lowering both heels. Inhale, sweeping your arms up, bringing your left leg with you. Good. And exhale, stepping back. I love this transition. It's a beautiful way of trusting what we can't see, stepping into the unknown. The ground is there to catch you. Let your toes touch down and inhale into crescent. And you can take a moment here, lifting and lowering. And then maybe pausing, really engaging with the shape. And then an invitation to open this up into Warrior Two. In your Warrior Two stance, turning your, in this case, right foot forward, grounding down through your left heel, gazing over your right fingertips. And you can stay here, or maybe a few breaths and movement together, in and out. Inhale and exhale to extend. And then exhale, pause. Inhale, reaching away. And exhale into an extended side angle. So we've got our forearm perhaps on the thigh, and left arm can come overhead. Gaze might be down, ahead, or lifted. And luxuriating in that long line across the left side of your body. Inhale, I'll invite you to sweep all the way up through center into a 5-pointed star. Maybe you rock your hips a little from side to side. Let that feel good. And then we're going to open this to the back for Trikonasana triangle. So you can adjust your feet as needed here. This time we have a long left leg. We'll reach away. And exhale, long reach, reach, reach before rotating your arms. Nice to keep a little micro bend in your left knee, not locking out through the joints. And again, this doesn't have to be your deepest pose ever, just a greeting of the shape. And you can explore how it feels to reach through the upper fingertips rather than descending all of your weight into that lower hand and leg. What happens as you feel the engagement of the reach simultaneously? And then inhale, let that reach of the right hand lift you up, bending through your left knee. Inhale. And exhale to the earth. Hands planting, left foot can come back to meet the right and your way to downward dog. You can skip any vinyasa and just press straight back. And traditionally in yoga, our downward dog is considered to be a resting pose, a recovery pose. If it doesn't serve that for you, knees can come down. Child's pose is an option. Mm. Mhm. And then when you're ready, gazing forward and making your way to the new front of your mat, finding a halfway lift. Exhale to fold and inhale up to standing. Exhale, Utkatasana. This time, just sending the arms back, maybe a little bit of that balance, lifting your heels, drinking bird. And then lowering your heels. This time it's right leg that lifts with you into one-legged mountain. And on an exhale, sending your right foot back into the unknown. Deep trust here. And stepping into support. As your right toes land, coming into crescent and a few breaths in and out. Maybe a pause, receiving the shape, and noticing yourself inside of the shape. What's present for you here? When you feel ready, we'll open it up, warrior two. Now, hopefully on side two, and you can come in and out. Just finding a little fluidity, breath and movement. Beautiful. Maybe a pause inside the shape. And an invitation to reach away from your front bent leg, your left leg, and exhale into extended side angle. So beautiful, letting your arms help lift you all the way up, five-pointed star. And then this time, turning both toes out and coming into goddess pose. We'll refer to this shape as goddess today. And this goddess has a little bit of capacity to be with the fire, to be with the fierceness. All right, so we're gonna give her her full expression, arms up, and we're gonna add a lion's breath to this goddess. And lion's breath, you're gonna stick out your tongue, you're gonna cross your eyes, you're gonna give it a sound. And let's do that 3 more times. Let something go that is no longer serving you. One more time. And inhale, 5-pointed star. And exhale, preparing for triangle trikonasana to the original front of your mat, right leg forward. And inhale, reach away. And exhale, long reach, reach, reach through your right fingertips. And then landing someplace for support. Perhaps your leg, you might have your blocks up there if you want them. And maybe left arm lifting up. Now, this is that beautiful place where you can feel both the lifting, the reaching towards those realms of potential, that sense of possibility, while you're also feeling supported and connected to gravity, that which can weight us down, right? And you are here in between navigating those forces. Stunning, beautiful. Come on up. Let those left fingertips lift, lift, lift. And exhale towards your right leg to the earth, stepping back. Downward dog, any transition you'd like to arrive there. This last very short flow will ultimately take us to the earth. It has just a tiny bit of challenge to it, but I think it'll feel okay. So join me if you want to come for the ride here. I'll invite you to take your right leg back behind. And this time, exhale under your body and send your right leg through. Now, this we'll call fallen triangle, and you might lift your left arm for a moment before settling your hips down to the earth. Here we are, and you can widen your legs to whatever degree supports you, coming into a forward fold in this straddle shape. Take a moment, lengthen your spine, walking yourself to whatever degree supports you. Your blocks can always assist with that process. You can give your head some support with your hands in whatever shape you're choosing. Knowing that when the challenge is over, even if it's temporarily over, we need to give ourselves those opportunities to actively recover and rest. And then slowly lifting up on this side and curling towards the front, drawing your right knee in, back, and up. You might open it up for a moment before settling right foot to the earth. And then we'll find all that on the left, lifting your left leg and left knee coming toward right elbow, under through right left foot plants. You can open your right arm for a moment and then lowering your hips. Now, it's a big transition, and if you skipped all that and just met us in a wide-legged forward fold, hallelujah, second time here. A little bit shorter this round, just greeting the shape. And then slowly pressing up. And from this side, I'll invite you to draw both knees in and maybe orient yourself on your mat in such a way that you can come down to your back. Maybe, since at least it's chilly here in Colorado, I'm putting a layer on at this stage. Finding your way onto your back as you're ready. And then we'll find a supine figure 4, drawing right ankle over your left leg, your left thigh. You can stay here with left foot on the floor, really restful version of this shape. Or you might take your left foot off the floor, thread the needle, take a hold behind your left leg. You can maybe roll out through your left ankle one more time. And you choose the depth of the stretch of your right hip. Ah. And then releasing a hold of your left leg, you can keep your feet in this shape, your right leg crossed, open your arms to a T, and then maybe rock your hips to the right as you send your legs to the left. And here you are in a figure 4 twist. Just let your hips follow. There's nothing rigid about this particular twist. You might notice sensations in your hips. Let that happen. Hmm. And then unwinding here, coming back through to center, figure 4, side 2, left ankle over right thigh. This is a lovely place to stay. Or picking up your left foot and deepening, maybe rotating right ankle. And then releasing right foot to the earth. You can keep your legs in figure 4 as you shift your hips to the left, legs to the right, and this twist as we wind down our practice. And then unwinding from that shape, coming back to center. And if you'd like, curling everything into a tight ball here. Giving it one more contraction, squeezing all of your muscles tight before letting it all go, coming into your relaxation, your shavasana. If you want to have legs long, maybe you want legs up the wall, maybe you want Supta Baddha Konasana with your knees bent, feet together, whatever supports your final resting shape. Arriving to yourself as we come to completion of a rather deep practice, rather invigorating practice. Letting gravity hold you. As you remain in Shavasana, for those of you that are still there, I will guide us through our poem one more time. A proclamation for peace. Whereas the world is a house on fire. Whereas the nations are filled with shouting. Whereas hope seems small sometimes, a single bird on a wire left by migration behind. Whereas kindness is seldom in the news, and peace an abstraction while war is real. Whereas words are all I have, whereas my life is short, whereas I am afraid, whereas I am free despite all fire and anger and fear. Be it therefore resolved, a song shall be my calling. A song not yet made shall be my vocation, and peaceful words the work of my remaining days. And with that, I invite us to move towards a closing of this practice. Tuning in to what you are bringing with you off the mat as you begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, rotate hands around your wrists, feet around the ankles, drawing knees in towards your chest, and rocking to your side or on your spine as a transition to sitting. Tuning back into your intention, your proclamation. What brought you here, what you are taking away. And perhaps joining me in a deep bow and offering of the benefits of this practice to all beings. Namaste.